Hello, everyone. Well, on this part of the report, we will be dealing and talking about what influences direct financial compensation. We can say that direct financial compensation is influenced by many factors: the organization, the job, the specific employee, and external factors can all influence how much pay an individual receives. By understanding these factors, we aim to help organizations make better decisions about how they pay their employees, taking into account both their own goals and what's happening in the broader job market. So let's explore each of these in greater detail. In the line is the influence of the organization on direct financial compensation. This defines that different industries and different organizations within an industry are able to pay differently based on their profitability and resources. For example, I myself is able to pay my employees more than a typical local banks. So basically, the amount companies pay their employees can vary based on their industry and individual financial strength. As more profitable and resource-rich organizations tend to offer higher salaries. Also, one consideration in your own career is what industry you work in as well as what career to pursue. Some industries are able to pay more than others due to greater growth, profitability, and resources, which on this part plays an important role to what industry you are to work with. When planning your career, it's important to think about both the industry you choose and the specific job you want, as certain industries can offer higher pay due to forces like growth, profitability, and available resources. These decisions plays a significant role in determining which industry you choose to work with. It is important to remember that although a financially successful organization may be able to pay above market salaries, it may not choose to do so, as other factors affect compensation decisions for different jobs. We need to also note that in some organizations, it is have compensation policy of being a pay leader and seek give employees greater rewards than do their competitors. These statements suggest that certain companies have a deliberate approach to compensation, aiming to stand out as leaders by offering their employees more generous awards than what others companies in the same industry provide. Essentially, these organizations prioritize being at the forefront of the in terms of pay, attract, and retain top talent, setting themselves apart from their competitors. Furthermore, companies with an innovation or customer service strategy, including Starbucks and Google, uses this strategy to attract and retain higher quality employees who are critical to their success. Although factors other than pay influence motivation and retention, I believe that employees do tend to be more motivated and turnover is often lower when rewards are greater. And now we are in the second influence, and that is the influence of job and direct financial compensation. For both ethical and legal reasons, it is important to have a clear plan to meaningfully distinguish between jobs and employees. For pay purposes, organization should ensure that pay differences across employees are based upon variations in job requirements including skill, effort, working conditions, job responsibility, and mental and physical requirements rather than bias. We can all say that it is notable and where it emphasizes the importance for organization to make sure that differences in employee pay are fair and linked to the specific demands to their jobs. In addition, a job should be established to be worth a certain wage rate to the organization, and a person hired to till it at that rate. Exceptions are sometimes made for high-level jobs for which the incumbent may expand or reduce the scope of the job depending upon his or her ability and interest or for particularly higher performs at risk of leaving the organization. A note-taking theory on this one is from resource dependence theory. This argues that organizational decisions are influenced by both internal and external agents who control critical resources. The theory highlights that organizations are influenced in their choices by both factors within the organization itself and external factors, particularly those who hold significant resources vital for the organization's functioning and success. According to this theory, an organization must acquire resources, for example, money, technology, accreditation from regulatory agencies to survive, and it interacts with other actors who control such resources. So whoever controls these sources, for the example like technology or the money and etc., has a considerable influence over the organization because positions that secure valuable resources are more important than those that do not have. Employees holding such position are typically paid more. And now we are down to the third influence, which is the influence of the employee on direct financial compensation. If equity is more important to an organization than equality, then individual difference in ability and contribution should be recognized. Wage differentials are differences in wages between workers, group of workers, or workers within a career held. For example, the highest performing employee in a work group might be paid more than his or her coworkers even though they all hold the same job. This implies that the organization recognizes and rewards individuals' performance, choosing to compensate the most productive employee at a higher level as a form of acknowledging and incentivizing outstanding work within the group. We can also mention here that seniority and merit are two of the largest influences on wage differentials among people holding the same job in an organization. So basically, this means that when people have the same job in a company, two big factors that affect how much they get paid are how they've been working there, or it is the seniority, and how well they perform in their job, or this is the merit. So someone who has been working for a longer time or has shown excellent performance might earn more money compared to those with the same job. Additional worker characteristics commonly considered to justify wage differentials include experience, education, competencies, skills, performance, and tenure with the employer. This matter is saying that there are other qualities or features of workers that are often taken into account to explain why they might earn different amounts of money. These include: first is the experience. It is how much time someone has spent working in a certain field. Second is education, the level of schooling or training a person has received. Third is competencies, the skills and abilities a person has developed. Fourth is the skills. It is the specific things a person can do well. Fifth is performance. It is how well someone does their job. And lastly, tenure with the employer. It is how long a person has been working for a particular company. So, when determining how much someone gets paid, employers often look at those factors along with seniority and merit. To prevent a sense of inequity of the part of the lower paid employees, wage differentials should be identified, explained, and determined. It is also job titles can help to differentiate the reason Some workers are more highly paid. For example, physician assistant 1, physician assistant 2, and etc. Wage differentials across individuals sometimes result from in-group bias and demographic similarity to those making pay allocation decisions. Research has found that people tend to give less favorable treatment to those individuals with the similar demographic characteristics. Employees' preferences for compensation characteristics can also influence the compensation policy. And now to our last influence, the influence of external forces on direct financial compensation. The labor markets. The labor market for a position consists of all of the potential employees located within a geographic area from which the organization might be able to hire. For example, if fast food cashiers in an area tend to be paid about $8 per hour, a new fast food restaurant is likely to set its cashier pay at that level. So many organizations try to set compensation at a level consistent with the prevailing rate in the relevant labor market. And now, as mentioned earlier about the compensation policy, here is a concrete example on how managing turnover through compensation policy. In 1 year, Convergys, a company that manages accounting, payroll, and benefits for organizations is over 40 countries, had such a high turnover rate that it had to recruit 50,000 new people to maintain a staffing level of 35,000. To reduce attrition, Convergys tried some silver bullet approaches, such as across the board pay rises, but this had limited success. Finally, they used a data driven approach to determine the specific human resource practices that would be most likely to enhance retention. Convergys learned that employees were more likely to stay with the company if they receive half their annual pay raises every 6 months instead of receiving the entire amount once in a year. This cost almost nothing, but it enhanced retention. In summary, what affects how much people get paid is quite complex in today's workplaces. It's not just about how long someone has been working or how well they do their job. Other things like their experiences, educations, skills, and how long they've been with the company also play a role. To make sure employees are paired fairly and motivated, organizations need to consider all of these factors when deciding a compensation. So, this is James Kenneth Anyet saying thank you for listening and stay tuned for the next topic. Bye!